Hey, look, I'm back. I'm continuing my stream from this morning. This is part 2 of stream number 247, where I'm working on my game and going to be cleaning up the login dialog and allowing you to create a new account when you log in with Twitch. Along with, if I have time for it, probably not, but if I do, the Game Master screen where I get a list of the players, I kind of like to see the accounts that are linked to Twitch there. So this morning I added the number used once to Twitch login requests, which are in the form of OpenID Connect, or OIDC, implicit call flow. So in other words, you are redirected to Twitch, you verify and authorize Twitch to create a token that identifies you, and that's in the form of a JSON web token that we get back and send to our game server, and verifies that the token signature is correct, and it basically is your ID card for the game saying this is this person on Twitch. And the number used once was added for making it so that the token could only be used one time. So if someone got a copy of the token, they couldn't use it to impersonate you on a second login, for example. So that's done, and I tested it, looks good. So moving on to cleaning up the login dialog. And normally I have a stream schedule of from about 3 hours ago to 1 hour from now is my normal stream time, but I had to start early and then break up the stream into 2 sections because of a meeting I had. It actually ran twice as long as I thought it would. I thought it'd be back in an hour and a half. Turned out I needed 3 hours. But yeah, that's such is life, right? So I'm back, and probably no one's watching, but I'm okay with that because I record for YouTube also, and this is my job. I'm trying to make something out of this, and I will just keep chugging along. So this is what the game looks like, and I should probably make a game intro video. I wonder if I could just record it now and then like cut it up later, put it into a YouTube video. Probably not ready to do that right at this second, but maybe in a bit. Hey there, 715209. You are the first viewer to say hi in part 2 of today's stream. I just noticed that my camera lighting is off, so let me adjust the filter there. It looks like I'm melting away. Ah, I'm melting away! Other way. There we go. I had the filter adjusted pretty aggressively because it was dark this morning. All right. Fun with camera filter settings, right? All right. So let me show you what I was working on this morning. It was in this view that, well, it's kind of hard to see it, but when we log out and then log in, we now have this option to log in with Twitch, right? And I can click that and it redirects to Twitch. It says, do you authorize this app to basically know who you are on Twitch? It says including email address and profile image, but 2 things wrong about that. My requests don't actually include the email address, so we don't get that. The second is the profile image. It's already publicly available. Don't need a permission for that. So I don't know why they say that, but they do. Anyway, authorize. We get the JWT back and put it into the game. Right now, the problem is if you don't have an account linked to Twitch, you get this message. I would like it to not show this error. Instead, I would like it to show sort of an equivalent of this where you're creating a new account, only remove the email address, password, and re-enter password and the CAPTCHA. And has say something like, welcome to the game, you don't yet have an account. To create an account, enter a player name and click sign up. That's what I would like to do. Hey there, Otter Food. That's an interesting name. Wow, your account's pretty old. Bravo. I don't think I've seen an account that's from 2011. Wow, nice. So we're going to work on that today, that I want to get to a screen like this without the password, re-enter password, email address, capture all that, because we can sort of trust the user a little bit more than just anyone coming to the website. If they've already authenticated with Twitch, we know who they are on Twitch, so we don't need I don't think we really need to have a CAPTCHA. We don't need the email address at all. That's only for password reset, and we're not going to even require a password. It's completely optional when you sign up. Actually, maybe I'll put in the password and just say it's optional. Maybe? I have to think about that. Anyway, we need the player name, though. That's important because that's what you show up as in-game, and it is the name associated with your account, so we need to have that information and then create the account. Click on your account, 715209. Oh, it's just about as old. Wow, old timers on Twitch. I'm impressed. My account only goes back to 2014, and I really didn't do anything on Twitch for the first 3 years of that. I didn't really start really getting involved in Twitch until like about a year and a couple months ago. All right, let me make sure that this plan still matches. So part one, which is earlier today, was I added the number used once for the Twitch login requests. So what I was just describing a little bit ago about a sign up with Twitch is the second bullet. It's a little bit more work. So I had put a slightly easier task up front to just get warmed back up, which is to clean up the login dialog. I think that this login dialog is a bit cluttered. And, you know, I'm always welcome to feedback if you have any, but my idea was this remember me applies either if you do name, password, or login with Twitch. So maybe we want to move that down to the bottom and highlight really the part that is a decision between two methods, right? Maybe put a box around these saying you either need to use a name and password or login with Twitch. And then everything else is sort of common, so this actually shouldn't show up. It's interesting that this shows up. I wonder if it's because I did some failed logins. Yeah, so I think it shows up if you do too many failed logins in a row. How does the two-factor authentication work with Twitch? Well, probably Twitch uses a similar technique to what I do, which is a shared secret that you have in your authentication app, like Authy, and Twitch has in their server, and then both are run through an algorithm like the time-based one-time password to come up with the 6-digit code or 8-digit code or whatever. And you enter it when you log in, and Twitch compares it, says, yeah, that's a match, and then that's the second factor. I don't know for sure what Twitch does, but it's sort of in conjunction with that, we have this login with Twitch. So if you have two-factor auth enabled for your Twitch account and you use this login with Twitch, then you're first authenticating with Twitch using your two-factor authentication, and then we're leveraging that to get a token to identify you in my game. If you don't have two-factor auth set up for Twitch, this is just a single-factor auth, right? And I have my own second-factor auth, but it's only going to be used for username password. I figure that if you authenticate through Twitch and you wanted two-factor auth, you would have set up two-factor auth with Twitch anyway. So why should I bother making you do that again, right? So I hope that answers the question. They're sort of different. If we don't log in through Twitch, if it's just through my server, right now I have it set up that if you enable the authenticator, you would type your password in like chickens, and then you look at your authenticator and say, okay, the code's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You just add it to the end of your password, and the server checks it that way. I didn't think I was going to do it double because I figure it doesn't make it really any more secure to have double authentication. Might as well just trust that Twitch's authentication mechanism is secure. Just leverage that. Hey there, Romania Hate. Nice emote there. How are you doing? I am doing all right. Okay, so I need to clean this up. I also want to kind of get to this eventually. Right now, this is sort of a clumsy way if you've lost your authenticator to enter one of the pre-made backup codes. And the fact that it's really not clear where you enter the 6-digit code from your authenticator. Right now, you have to tack it onto the end of your password. I kind of want it to be more like what other sites do now, where you enter your username and password, you hit login, and then if you have your authenticator set up, you get another prompt that says, okay, now enter your 6-digit code. And at that point, if you don't have your authenticator, you could just use a backup code in the place of that, and then we would get rid of these options. So considering that I'm going to remove these anyway, I think I'll just forget about the fact that these are here and just focus on this top section. I want to move the Remember Me button down, I think, and then kind of draw a box around these two options and highlight. And maybe say like log in with password or log in with Twitch. I know what I can do. I can make another button that says log in with username and password. When you click it, it just replaces the button with this form. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? and then remove the login button until you pick one or the other. Yeah, let's do that. Unless someone's got a better idea. I'm always open to other ideas, by the way, if you guys have any. So this would be going, let's just close everything. What did I not save here? I think it was just scratchpad stuff with, yeah, this was for the JWT changes that I made. Basically to include this little bit at the end, the number used once. So yeah, we don't need any of that stuff, so don't save. All right. And by the way, this stuff isn't in production yet. If you go to the production environment, it just that button's missing. So it will add it soon, I promise. It just need to get it finished. So right now, if you log in, there's no login with Twitch yet. When I get this feature finished and polished and then push it to production. Hey there, Toulouse. If you forgot your password, should probably also somehow be associated with your username and password. Wait a minute, let me read that again. You forgot, Toulouse says, I forgot my password should probably also somehow be associated with the username password, right? Oh, the I forgot my password? Yeah. So maybe we don't, maybe that should go up here. Because when you click that, it's basically, we'll email you now. So maybe move that up to here? A good idea. Let me give you a point for that. Ooh, 69 points. Are you planning to add lore or log in options, e.g. Facebook? Oh, more options. Yes. So we're going to have login through Google and login through Twitter, I think, and maybe login through Facebook, although I think that requires that I have a Facebook account. If I can overcome my my disgust for Facebook and get a Facebook account. I haven't logged into it for a long time. I'll probably end up making just a new Facebook account for the game and then figure out their mechanism. I think it's slightly different than Google and Twitter and Twitch. So I could maybe add that. That'd probably be last. You don't need Facebook? Excuse me for a second. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't have any water. I'll have to go. I need to go get some water. Just a second. I'll be right back. Quick water break. Camera back on. Here we go. You don't need no stinking Facebook login. Hey there, 2H Strike. How are you doing these days? And Cthulhu and Lazy Guru. And I didn't say hi properly to Forficula? 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 I'm not sure how to say your name. And of course, Toulouse. I'd like to wave to everybody. All right. Yeah, when I'm done, this thing will be so many login buttons that we'll be worrying about vertical real estate. Okay. First things first, we need to find the damn thing. Source, views, dialogues. As soon as you see the notification, you try to join immediately. Aw, thank you, Cthulhu. You don't feel obligated, but you're always welcome. So, login dialog, here we go. So here's our login with Twitch, login with password, etc. What's the easiest thing to do first? Move the remember me down to here, maybe? So where is that? Oh, thank you, Cthulhu. As always, let me know any feedback you have that I can try to work on to get better. I will add it to the increasingly long list of things that I should do differently. So, yeah. Hold on a second. A squared! Ah! A squared! How are you doing? That's like extra shouting if not only it's in caps, but you have spaces between every letter. It's like 4 times the volume shouting, right? All right, let's move this remember me down. I think we can just put it next to the more options, right? And then I don't need that span anymore. See what that looks like. Yeah, there we go. And then maybe draw a box around those two options. No, move the forgot my password up, right? This one. We can move that up. Let's move it up into here. And then the way this works is these go in, these key values are doubles, so there has to be a companion, otherwise it doesn't match up right in the CSS. So there we go. Yeah. Add it to the increasingly long list of things I should do differently. Wasn't that everyone? Inviting that golem character along for the ride. Oh, I see what you're saying, Cthulhu. Yeah. I have more plans for the golem, by the way. So I really like the idea of just drumming up hype in chat and stuff like that. So my original goal for the golem was just to have the point system in place, right? But we have a chat bot and they're always listening. And if the one of the draws for the stream would be integration between Twitch and a new game, we could have stuff like the golem could be somewhere in the world and he could be like a world boss. And if you defeat him, then maybe some event happens in Twitch chat. Yeah, the ping command is in production, but not for long. That ping command we removed because it's sort of an anachronism. It was just for testing the bot when it first was written. Yeah, I was thinking like the chat bot could be represented in game as some kind of world boss. He defeated or something, or maybe he would hand out puzzles that you'd have to interact in chat to work with, something like that. Well, maybe for you, 715209, maybe we'll have a ping command, an homage to the ping command just for you. Yeah, in Twitch chat. So yeah, I'm thinking like this would be like something to hype the stream, or maybe even other streams, that some world event in the game is integrated with the Twitch channel, and the people who are in the Twitch chat get to interact the most. Like you're in game and in Twitch chat, and the world event happens. Maybe there's some reward in chat, or maybe there's hints are placed in chat, like the golem is now vulnerable to fire spells, and like that's only put in chat and not in the game. And so people who are in chat would have some kind of advantage. You know, some ideas like that. Anyway, getting ahead of myself. Doesn't bring up interactive Pong game. Oh, there we go. So it should be like you have to Pong back within 2 seconds or else you lose. A squared has not done Pong in time. 715209 wins ping pong. Okay, I think this is getting somewhere. I think I would just like to at least draw a box around it. If not, I can get rid of the or if I just made this thing show up as a button first, right? And the other thing I can do is if it's a button and you press it, we could hide the login with Twitch button until you hit back or something like that. Actually, no, let's keep it the same dialogue. We'll just have it replace it with this form, and if you change your mind, you can always click there. How about that? You mean actual Pong, like, well, how would that work? Mernin, Krasner? I don't have a Mernin shortcut. I'll have to type it. Mernern. The golem could give hints where he is in the world. Yeah, there you go. There could be a random chat message saying, I'm in the mountains right now, and I see a town ahead of me. And everyone would be like, oh, there's where he is. Let's go get him. Yeah, a squad type of thing. Yeah, exactly. You would need a team, because if it's just you, the golem would just step on you and you die or something. Anyway. You know what? It'd probably just suffice to have these forms replaced by a button for now. I'm thinking just a green button. Maybe he moves every 24 hours? Or maybe just spawns once during the stream. It'd have to be something where the stream is active. So maybe once the stream goes active, some kind of countdown happens, or maybe I would just trigger it. I would wait until chat gets too quiet, and then I would hit some special button, and the golem would spawn somewhere in the world and then start dropping hints in chat about where he was. and then it would like spur conversation in chat, in game, etc. I'm open to all sorts of ideas, and if anyone has any ideas and would like to contribute, I do have this Discord where we have a channel for the game for dropping suggestions. And right now it's still very early on the world building side, so it's not too active, but I hope to get more activity there as I get the engine more and more complete. But let's get on that task of completing this game engine. So I want to have a button. I think what I want is I want this whole form here to be inside of a component, and it's shown after you've pressed the button. Since the combat is basically just turn-based, as it's implemented. Need to find a good way to do bosses? Yeah. A lot of chat bots have a steal money or raid a bank or something like that. Huh. Write down some of these ideas before I lose track of them. Get me the whip out so that I code. Get to work, streamer! I think this entire div here needs to be optional. I think the way I want to do it is have a... what's the right name? I was just telling someone today, the hardest thing about programming for me is finding the right names. Login with password, button, or form. I think it's going to depend on some React state. All right, we're going to want something to say whether or not we've pressed the button yet. So logging in with password, set logging in with password is use state false. And then we will make this optional. If it's true, we have the div, right? If not, let's have a button that kind of looks like the login with Twitch button, only it's not using their logo, and it is not purple. So something like this, and we'll have the button just call the setter for this thing, right? On click equals that true, right? And that needs to be specified as an arrow, right? Otherwise it'll do it immediately. And I put it in the wrong button, didn't I? Shoot. This is what I like. This is what I do by accident a lot. Take that and then we'll undo a little bit. There we go. It's this button I want it on, right? There we go. Button password login. Type button. There's no image. It should just be log in with username password. Naming is hard. Mine end up too verbose too. I mean, look at this name. I bet I've just offended half the internet by using a name that long for a variable. Next, I'll just call it X. That'll be my. You'll know what I've snapped mentally if I just start naming things X and Y. Is it bad if it's too verbose? I think it just. I don't want to use the word trigger, but I think it just goes against a lot of people's coding styles to use names that are long, especially certain kinds of case, like camel case. If someone's really used to snake case, and that they would rather it look like this, the longer it is in camel case instead, the more they get annoyed. At least that's what I've observed. But my idea is that if you really don't like stuff like camel case versus snake case, why not write an extension that will just prettify? It'll just goes and makes everything snake case, and then when you hit save, it converts it back. I had a mentor who that's the way he would solve arguments about tabs versus spaces and how many spaces per tab. He said, "Look, I'll write you guys an extension that you tell me, do you want spaces or tabs? How many spaces per tab? And I'll just have this plugin run whenever you open a file, and then undo it when you close the file." And then you'll never know how I save it on disk. It'll always look like what you want it to look like. And he he would say these things, and no one would ever call his bluff because we knew if we did, he wouldn't do it, but it was still kind of an interesting idea. Do people actually press spaces? Yes, but a lot of times you have good editors that don't that know how to do it for you. Hey there, New York. Welcome back. Yeah, use tabs, have your editor do it. Yeah, exactly. That's along the same line, right? A squared is just have the editor figure it out for you. And welcome back, Nui. Or I should say, I'm back, and thank you for coming back. All right, so this button is just going to hide the button, hide itself, and show this instead. I think that's all I need, right? Just replace this with that variable, and now I'm done. I can go make some money now. No, just kidding. Log in with username and password. I press it, and it shows it. Look at that! Isn't that cool? It works just the way I thought it would work. It's not like you're using MS Notepad to edit code. Oh, maybe we should do that. Get the notepad out. All right, are you guys ready? We're gonna do some serious coding now. I just need to find where the project did, not my pictures. Projects. There we go. Here we go. We're gonna do some serious coding now. I just need to find out where that code is. Source. Views. Imagine if I started doing this, you'd all go nuts. And look, it only wants to open text. It's already fighting me. Damn it! It's not just text. It's real code. We're in login dialog, right? Oh yeah, we're back to the 1990s. Oh, I can't imagine ever writing code like this again. Ah, okay, that's enough of that. Password. Did I show a pass? I didn't show a password. Someone clip it. I'm giving you guys lots of clippable material, you know. Is the show more options applicable to username and password too? This show more options is its days are numbered because what I want to get rid of this, and this I just have this backup, something you can just type in place of the 6-digit code when it prompts you. So I'm not worrying about that so much right now. In fact, I'm just going to leave it alone. I really just wanted to modify the parts that are more correct already. So I need to hide this login button also. We want you to pick one or the other, I think. So let's hide the login button until... In fact, maybe I should move that up and move the login with Twitch something below. Doesn't that make more sense? Yeah, let's take the okay, at least first let me hide the login button until you choose to log in with username and password. Where the heck is the thing? How come I'm not seeing it? Here's the back and cancel. Where's the login button? I'm just blind, I don't see it. Why do I not see it? Where's the forgot password? It's when you click here. Oh, no, I forgot my password because it the idea is that you got to choose your login method. If you log in with Twitch, then you never need to enter our password. It doesn't matter if you forgot anything, right? You're just in, right? You're in. It's only if you're logging with password where you're like, oh shoot, I forgot my password. Yeah, I was thinking about putting the login button in the user and password section. Yeah, but first I want to find out where the heck it is, because I don't see it. Oh, here it is. It's hiding. Yeah. How do we... I guess we need to make it optional, right? So let's put a log... This is really a form submit button, isn't it? Thank you for that sub, Radon. 3 months. Thank you for your support. Warms my heart. A thing. What's a thing? Yeah, names. Names are difficult. I feel compelled to respond with Other direction cacti. Cacti marching left and right. Yes, you can also wave to other streamers with my ridiculous hey emote. And if you want to spread the word about this upcoming world boss level abomination, the golem, you can also use that one. Let's see. Should this be a submit? I guess so, because the but no, that's the thing originally was a single form, where this is the form and this submits the form. You know, I guess it's okay. Golem is a brick wall. Yeah, he's a living brick wall. Don't mess with him. Do I want to call it submit, or we're just going to call it login button? Let's just call it login button. Because it really is generic. It's like submit the form. All right, and then we're not going to show that until you've decided to log in with username and password. So it's this kind of a thing again where if you are logging in with username and password, then show the button. Otherwise, I guess it's null then, right? Login button down here. There we go. Those cacti don't have an unhappy face. We have to ask Raimi. I think they are just the generic, like, creeper face from Minecraft. That's what it reminds me of. But he's not unhappy. He's contemplative. That's what he is. You know, cacti are actually very intelligent. It's too bad they can't tell you. But they sit there all day in the desert sun just, you know, contemplating life. They're not unhappy. In the code. Oh, was the code crying too? I missed it. Line 161. Okay, what have I been doing 161? Oh, there. Oh yeah, look at that. How do we turn the frown upside down? I guess I could hide the frown. No, now it's frowning the other way. Ah! We can't get rid of the frown. I could do that. Then it kind of looks like a ninja rotated 90 degrees, throwing like his shuriken in different directions, front and back. Please no. Okay. Can't please everybody. Okay, so now it's like we need to decide, or we can just say go back, right? And we do that, and I mean, does that look weird that it pops in there when you do that? I still want you to like say, oh, I'd rather log in with Twitch after all. Like, should the button be there or should it be up here? Here's where I have no clue what the best user experience design is. I know this looks better than it did about an hour ago. You guys think the login should be up here? Okay, I got 2 votes for up there. Let's see what that... I think this... It'll look weird because it'll not be on the same row as the back button, but, you know, we can give it a try. To do that right, checkboxes side by side? You think so? I always like it when they're vertically spaced. Make sure you can submit to... Actually, what happens if you're here and you hit enter? No, it's hidden, so now you can enter, right? Well, if I filled it out, yeah. Tend to agree with what I said earlier, like the idea that logging with Twitch all the way under every... Oh, really? So put that under the back button? Or maybe put it right here, right up between back and show more options. We'd have or logging with Twitch. And either way, I think maybe you're right. I would want to move the login up there. Okay, how to do that? Take that out. And I guess actually that means I don't need this anymore. I would put it up here, right? I would put it somewhere here. I would guess since these are left, right, that's the right, left, and then on the right is the button. So I don't need this anymore. What does that look like? Something like that. And then maybe we move the or login with... The thing is that remember me applies to the login with Twitch also. So if I made it above the or login with Twitch, it would look like it only applies to this form. This is probably good enough, right? I can add more later to have it under everything. Just remember, this button, show more options, is going to go away. I want remember me always to apply. I guess I could put it at the top. I don't know. You would include 2 remember me? Like a remember me in both? Something like that. I don't know. I kind of feel like we're getting to the nitpicky details. Left column login, right Twitch. Oh, put them in columns. An image of an idea in Discord. Okay, I can look at that. We'll look at the Discord. I need to rotate your example 90 degrees though. How do I do that? I guess I can just in my head picture it 90 degrees rotated. Smaller login button, and then basically what I already have. Is that the essence of it? You want the login button to be smaller? Rotate my head. One for upper and one for Twitch. They could even uncheck at the same time. So just be redundant, put a remember me in both. I mean, I can try that. Let's see what that looks like. And I can make the login button smaller. Is that too obnoxiously big right now? One thing at a time. Let's duplicate the remember me button. So in other words, that should go in the form, I guess. Up here. Where is it? Like right here. Super easy to duplicate that stuff. So now it's in both. Although it's sort of weirdly spaced. Oh, I guess to do this properly, I would do on the left. Is that right? Ooh, that was a disaster. All right, that's one pair. I should probably just put spaces here, the pairs. Oh, I see what's going on. So if I did like a span here, put that in the span, and then have an empty span to the left, to the right of it. You get to more to what's in my head, like that, right? Or should I put it on the same row as I forgot my password? That would be this way. Like that. And I might want to write. Can I do a write? Write it. I don't like how close that is. I don't know. Let's see what people in chat are saying I should do. I think the size is okay. You mean the login button? Columns would help to intuitively see what field is for which form. That's true. The login with Twitch really just is the button and the remember me. I guess I'm also worried about if this is on mobile, I don't really have a whole lot of horizontal space, right? I kind of don't like how close these two things are. What if I swap them? What does it look like if I swap them? Remember, I suck at user experience, so I might be totally going off the deep end with this. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You would put the upper readme below the forgot password link. Okay, we can try that. So back to the way it was there, and then this would go. Wait a minute. Below the. Isn't that what I had? That's what I had before, right? Like that? Actually, could I put the login there? I could if I grouped those two together. You like how it was before? See, this is the problem. I'm not going to be able to please everybody. Move the forgot link next to the login. So like put them on the same row. So in a sense, this div replaces this span here, and I get rid of this altogether. Like that. Actually, that looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? These kind of group together, and this is clearly on its own, and that's clearly the submit. I'll take it that the oohs mean that it looks good to you. You like this a lot? You can go with that. Could also border each form with an identical... Yeah, that's what I was thinking originally, too. Put a green border and a purple border. Or something like that. Okay, I think people are generally liking this better. Maybe we'll stop there before we get too wrapped up in it. I don't know. I don't want to have too many colors. To the right for remind me of making this off to the right. Yeah, I can do that. That's not too hard. So that is putting that there. Like that, right? All 16 million. The remember me, one for the normal and one for Twitch login, is an answer to Lazy Guru saying, do you really need to remember me? That was a suggestion that we duplicate that so that if your eye is in the password name, you don't have to also remember to click something down here. You could just click it to here. But if your eye is drawn to log in with Twitch, then you might want to see this too, because if you don't click that, then every time you refresh, you got to re-log in. So, and it doesn't really hurt to have it in two places. I mean, you'll use it and you'll see, oh, it's the same thing in two places. Yeah, so Lazy Guru, I think the idea was that you don't miss it depending on which path you're choosing, right? This or is sort of breaking it up into there's two alternative ways, but the remember me is sort of applies to both. Also lets the client only store the token for the type you want. It's not actually storing the JWT though. It's storing a persistent login token, and it's the same no matter whether you logged in with your password or with Twitch. So in a sense, there are three authentication mechanisms. There's password, Twitch, and persistent login token. And you get the third after you pick one or the other of the first two if you selected remember me. And it's stored in your browser locally on the client side, right? So, yeah. This is probably good enough. Maybe play with the border. So how would I do the border thing? Maybe add a class to that div, and then do I have one around the rest of the form for the Twitch login? Where's the Twitch login stuff? It's part of this form. It's these two. So I can actually put that in now, right? Well, let's see. Will this screw things up if I do that? What does that do? It brought these two closer together because the spacing rules are different. But I could adjust that again. I can just give this one the same class, right? Could fix that with that. So now we're back to that. Only now that this div here is an element, I could give it another class for color. Twitch login. What are the other login OpenID buttons? What if we do? Well, there's button Twitch login. How about we say group Twitch login? Ship it. You want me to move on? I think people want me to move on. I want to try one thing with the colors. What happens if we add something here, which is essentially the same as what I did in buttons, which is to add a nice little border. Where was that? Index CSS somewhere. It was like a radius. Yeah, border radius. This thing. And with a little bit of padding. How about we do that? And we pick, for Twitch, we should pick the Twitch color. Where's the Twitch color? Oh, it's hard-coded? Shouldn't I make that a global constant? Twitch color. Does that make more sense? And then I would just use that in place of that. And then I could use the same thing over here. What does that look like? I know, A squared, you want me to move on. I'm almost done. Too many borders, don't you think? Or maybe it's just too intense. How about 1 pixel? And maybe not so round. And more padding. How about a full M vertically? That's not too bad. Could even make it 2 pixels. Stop tweaking it. Too many borders? Yeah, maybe. Okay, we'll abandon the border idea. So if I abandon the border idea, then I don't need this div anymore. Now we're back to that. I think we're shipping it. Oops. Back. Okay, I think we're shipping it. Moving on. Thank you guys very much for all of the feedback too. Let's pick this, put this in, make CSS variable just for Twitch color. And this is cleanup of the login, right? Login dialog cleanup. Done, ready to move on. Someone give me a box so I could ship it. That's right. Nested borders is a bit too much. Yeah, see, without feedback, I might have gone and done that anyway, and then lived to regret it later. There we go. Thank you for that box, Nui. Okay, one last thing. Should I get rid of this or? Don't really need the or, do I? I'll keep it for now. Because when you open it up, it's sort of a saying like, you should stop here because this is not unrelated to this form. Yeah, okay. So moving on. When a new player logs into Twitch, we want to request a name and establish a new player. So there's one little catch with that, is that right now there are the back end of the game assumes 2 states for a client connection. Either you have authenticated as a player or you have not. And the you have not case is very specific in that if you don't get out of that state within like a second or so, or 2 seconds or 3 seconds, you get disconnected. So I sort of need a third state where you've authenticated with Twitch, but we don't have an account for you yet, and we need you to go make one. Let's go look at the code that does the disconnecting. That's maybe the best place to start looking, right? Then maybe to change that. That would be in the coordinator, one of the things it does during the worker threads upkeep. Process server connections, I think, or disconnect time.clients, one of those two. What about this one? This is talking to other servers. Okay, so that's not it. How about disconnect time.clients? I think this is it. If you're not an admin and you haven't authenticated yet, and you reach a timeout, we ban your IP address for 60 seconds and hang you up because you are obviously trying to hack because you didn't send us an authentication message in time. That's the logic there. Yeah, well, this is tunable. I tried to tune it so that it's reasonable. What I want to prevent is people just getting a WebSocket connection open and then just firing in random messages trying to hack, trying to reverse engineer things. Maybe I didn't need to worry about that, but I obviously need to pick either to remove this or introduce another state where you don't have a player ID yet, but maybe you've authenticated as a Twitch user. What if we had client.twitch ID, and then we would change this to be something like, and actually I guess it would just be back to that, and Twitch ID is, so you haven't authenticated as either in-game or Twitch, then it would disconnect you. What if we did something like that? You're putting the 10,000 on my tab, huh? Yeah, that's true. I don't know what I'm maybe, yeah, I don't know what I'm really solving by having this timeout at all. Because like A Squared said, they could just data mine the protocol just by looking at a normal connection, right? I don't know. And if they're not doing any traffic, why prevent them from connecting? Yeah, but are dead connections really a problem? It would clean up dead connections. I could just make this a significantly long time. I do like the idea of having this though, because there are other purposes I could have for that. You might connect and identify yourself as a Twitch user, and then instead of playing, maybe you want to interact with the game just through Twitch and not the game. So that would allow you to do something, for example, like with a Twitch extension. You could write a Twitch extension for my game where you identify yourself as a Twitch user, and you don't need to play the game, but maybe you want to talk to the game for some other reason. Actually, I have a good reason to do this. If, let's say, I wanted to have an extension for my channel that shows who's playing in the game, I could write the extension where it logs into the game as a Twitch user, but instead of playing the game, it just sits there and subscribes to the information like who is online. Right? And then this would allow anyone to write an extension. All you need to do is connect through the WebSocket, give a valid JWT, identify as a Twitch user, and then my API would just be extra commands that you would need to be identified as a Twitch user to use. Right? Let's do that. I like that idea. So this would be an alternate. This would involve an alternate login mechanism, which we would use for this purpose, right? We would, when you log in with Twitch, it would be a two-step thing. You'd log in as Twitch, and then the game would tell you if you have an account, and if you do not, then you would still stay connected, and you get prompted to enter a new player name, and then you could do that, and then create an account. But if you did have a player account, maybe it would just automatically log you in. Twitch extension might be too early, but why not at least provide that avenue? And then I'm going to write one, I think, for GM purposes. Like, one idea I had was the Twitch bot would monitor who I've said hi to in chat during the stream, and maybe it would be some window off screen or off stream on my other monitor that would just point out, hey, you've forgotten to say hi to Nui today, something like that. And that would be easy to do because the game knows that Nui or A Squared or Cthulhu has chatted and how long it's been, and I already have that information in the game, so why not use it, right? Okay, so if we're allowing a new kind of authentication, which is Twitch, what does that mean? Do I change the existing authentication mechanism then? I think so. So let's do that. Let's do the back-end work. This is probably going to take the rest of the stream to do it too. Yeah, A Squared. So the idea would be you would have to not only be a Twitch user, but you'd have to be identified as a game moderator, which I already have. I added that the other day. So the Golem knows this. The Golem knows all. So I already needed to have this because I didn't want anyone, not even moderators, to just grant points. So I had the concept in here of there are 3 roles you can have. You could be a Twitch moderator, which, for example, Cthulhu is. You could be a broadcaster, which is just me, or you could be a game moderator, which is you don't necessarily have to be the broadcaster or a Twitch mod, but you could maybe have in-game only privileges. So game mod is required for what is it? For a certain subset of some of these commands, like points. So when we go to handle points, there's the is mod, right? That's is game mod, really. If you're not a game mod, you can ask for how many points you have, but you can't grant points to someone else or see someone else's point total. So another thing we could do with that flag is, since the golem knows it, it's recorded in the entity component system. Once you've connected with Twitch, we know whether or not you're a game mod, and so we could allow you or prevent you from using certain admin-only APIs. See how that works? So I could say, hey, I want Cthulhu, for example, to be able to get a list of players who are logged in through the API, and then he would be the only one to do that. I could also invent other roles, right? So, or just leverage Twitch's existing mod role. Only Twitch mods can get a number of people logged in, for example. So yeah, we already have that facility in place. So I think this will work. So, but it's modifying the login through Twitch, which I haven't even rolled out yet completely. Yeah, so it's really solving two problems. The problem one is you log in through Twitch, but you haven't created an account yet. And the other problem is later, if I want to enable extensions, admin type APIs that leverage Twitch roles, or at least identity. Okay, so enough talk. Let's do the test. I want to change the authentication system. Auth player. Log in with Twitch. Do I want to change the coordinator at all? I don't think I do, because this just creates a login command, right? I think I just want to change what comes out of the login system. Which is down here somewhere, right? Bad signature. No, where is it? I'm not seeing it. Aha. Finish login. Success with Twitch JWT. So right now it's expecting login status of logged in. What if we change that to say instead of logged in, we would say oh, I don't know. Names. Really, I shouldn't have called it logged in. I should have said like logged in as player, and then we could have logged in as Twitch, and then we could have logged in as player and Twitch or something. Really, there are two dimensions of it, right? Yeah, there are two dimensions of this. In fact, this is how I want to do it. This is logged in success when you have an account, but there was another test where we didn't have an account. Where was? Oh, that's in the executor, isn't it? I think I want to have both, right? Yeah, because if a player is identified, it's one thing. If the Twitch ID is identified, it's another thing. Yeah, okay, I think that's what I want to do. I want to have two alternatives to this. We'll reserve the logged in, the status logged in for player authentication, but we're going to add another dimension to authentication called the Twitch. I think I'll just call it Twitch, and it'll be either Twitch is either not present, meaning we haven't authenticated with Twitch, or we'll have Twitch and set to something like, can I just tell you your Twitch ID, and that would be enough? I really just need a flag. True, false, right? Okay, let's see what I want to change here. This is finish login success with Twitch JWT. I will say player, finish login success. And this one is non-player. player will have that and another one called Twitch. I think I'll just keep it simple and make it a Boolean. So that maybe just call this expect true. And then that's also present down here. But no... Should I have no status at all, or do I put a status here? That's... Okay, actually, I can have a status no account. Yeah, why not? Why not have a status no account? And then the front end says, oh, okay, I'm logged in through Twitch, but I have no account. Actually, then do I even need this? Maybe this is enough. Maybe it doesn't need to be fully two separate dimensions of authentication. Maybe there's really just 3 enumerated states. Not logged in at all, logged in fully, and then logged in through Twitch only. Browser told you were sitting here watching the stream is not supported? That means you got disconnected from Twitch or something. I have not dropped any frames, so it's either on your end or with Twitch. Will you still change the WebSockets instead of JSON to binary? Yeah, that's sort of independent of this. I'll do that when I need more performance improvement, I think. And there are 2 different places where I use JSON. There's JSON in these messages between server and client, and there's also JSON in the actual game commands. And that's fine. You don't have to say sorry for the random... I like random questions. You know me, I'm easily distracted by questions, and I love answering them. I'm kind of tempted to just not have this flag and just introduce a new kind of status called no account. That when you see that, it's like, okay, you're logged in, but you don't have an account. And then you'd be allowed to create an account. Shiny, exactly. Yeah, random questions to me are like shinies. So then this is the difference, right? We would not have a player. What does this do? This creates a player record. I actually don't want that, right? We would just not do that step. So there is no player record yet. So authentication will be all the same and still until we get down to here. Yeah, the difference is what do we tell the... What does the executor tell? For login. Would it just be 0? So it's not a failure, it's success, but your player ID is 0. That would mean you don't have an account. Could also base 64 encode the JSON. Didn't we already talk about this? That it doesn't help at all? Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but I thought there was a joke about that at some point, right? I shouldn't laugh. Sorry. My apologies. Base 64 is what you do if you have binary and you need it to go over a text channel. If you want to go over a binary channel and you have text, then you either carry it as is, or if you really wanted it smaller, use some kind of compression. And so the compression technique that I was thinking of was to basically make my own binary protocol. And if you've ever heard of ASN.1, it's sort of like that. And that's what I've started to use for some of the Raft consensus algorithms messages. They kind of do that thing. So if you look up ASN.1, it's an abstract syntax. I don't know if they have good examples of it, but they have an encoding saying the first byte is the type of the data, and then following that is the length, and then there's the body. And if it's a structure, it's just recursive. So inside of that sequence structure, there's another type, integer, one byte, and that's the value is 5. So that's how the number 5 would be encoded as integer, length 1, the value 5. So I have a similar kind of protocol I'm using already in the Raft consensus algorithm, internally, and that had some speed improvement and less traffic over the network between servers. So naturally we would extend this to use that for all the JSON data exchange between everything. It's just harder to read, right? you have to have something that decodes these bytes back into something human readable. Because if you look at that, it's like, I have no idea what that means. You have to pull it apart to see the message anybody there, right? So, yeah, it's a trade-off. ASN.1, yeah. So it's not a new concept. I think this is like really old. I think it's older than me even. No, I'm slightly older. Actually, I thought it was, this is 1984. I'm older than that, but I thought it was from the 70s or 60s or something. Thank you for the follow, by the way. Yeah, that's the thing, Toulouse. If I ever wanted to debug that, I would have to create a decoder. I have done that before. It's a lot of work and maybe not worth it. Yeah. I actually thought ASN.1 was even older, but I'm wrong. For some reason, I thought it was from the 60s, but that doesn't really make much sense, does it? Okay. Does anything else change here? I think username is not present, so we would, what, say that expect false messages 0 has a username, maybe? And we would not get a player update either, so we would not get an admin message. So does it even matter? Oh, I don't even need a admin connection. Don't think I do. Or would I want to see client connections that are not players? I think I'll leave that for another day. In fact, let me make a note here. Do we want GMs to have visibility into client connections, into Twitch-only client connections? Because right now, the GM only sees player connections, because the only other kind of connection is the transient one that we hang up on if they don't authenticate. But this will be a new kind of connection that persists and is not a player in the game. I might want to be able to see that. Thank you for that follow, by the way. I appreciate it. I'm just going to table that for now, so I don't need this admin connection. It simplifies the test a little bit more. So the expectation will be, well, thank you for that other follow there, that the client stays connected. Okay, this is not true. We should, what do we do here? Oh, we're able to reach into the client connection, right? So actually, I do want to record the Twitch ID. And what's the Twitch ID here? I think it was like 12345 or something. Where was it? Twitch, a test user Twitch ID is the name of the variable. There we go. And then we should expect equal to 0 for the player ID, because they're not a player yet. And we should also copy this up here too, right? They're not only a player, but they're also a Twitch user if they log in through Twitch. Yeah, I like that. And we get a login status of no account. Correct? I think that's what I want. Don't you have the same decoding overhead to process the data after sent anyway? Only if your encoding is complicated. So the idea behind ASN.1 is it's extremely simple for a machine, because you just go, it kind of like byte for byte, you send it to a different part of the program. The first byte always goes to the part of the program that is like a lookup table between byte and a procedure for decoding, right? So it'd say, okay, 30, jump to the procedure that knows how to decode sequence. And then everything usually has a length. So after the first byte, the second byte is then sent to a subroutine that decodes the length, right? And then the remainder of the bytes is then given to whatever procedure you looked up for the first byte. And so it's actually very fast. Yeah. Yeah, just in case anyone else was not sure about that. It's probably the fastest way to do it, because you can have a direct translation between an incoming byte and a function to call in order to handle it. Yeah, and the biggest improvement, I think, would be to remove all of the searching for delimiters and converting from strings into identifiers. So like the whole string of TOLLUS, could be replaced by just a single byte player ID. Well, I guess we can't use a single byte anymore because we have more than 255 players. So, but you know, a direct lookup to their key of their account rather than having to represent it as a string and all that stuff. Yeah, delimiters are kind of, it's not that they're hard, it's just that they're tedious. You have to look at every single character, and it's like, oh, I found a curly brace. Now let's look for the other curly brace. And you just have to march through and you find it. And now all you've really accomplished is you've divided your input into different pieces. Then you have to subdivide, and then once you've broken out all the delimiters, you've just turned a string into a tree. That's all you've done. User IDs, yeah, that was just my example, like, of what Toulouse put into chat with the name Toulouse. The simplified would be even more simple than saying 1A Toulouse. It would be like, just instead of 1, it would be like whatever the identifier is for player, and then it would just be a single integer, which would identify Toulouse's account. Yeah, and if you really needed to know his name, you would go to the account and fetch the name. That's the other flexibility in that the message doesn't change even if Toulouse were to change his account name. His account ID would stay the same, and so it would just be better, you know? It would be better all around to use unchanging key identifiers that are easily transmitted because they're just numbers and not strings. Strings are harder than numbers. Okay, this is in place. It's just that I messed that one up. And we don't have this concept of Twitch ID yet. So let's add that. Where's the other error here? Oh, it's the same one. So in addition to player ID, we're adding Twitch ID. If this is a... Okay, let me reword this. If this client has authenticated as a player, the player's identifier is stored here. And let me just steal that and change it. If this client has authenticated as a Twitch user, it's not that the client is, okay, I should reword this again. If this client, if the user of this client, has authenticated as a Twitch user, the Twitch user's identifier is stored here. There. So that's done. The test will fail, right? So I have another hour, and then I have a hard stop because I got to drive kids home from school. So let's see how far I can get. But it really is a hard stop. If I'm in the middle of something, I'll just have to stop. And that's the way of the world. Just letting you know. Yeah, kids. Ew, kids. Messing everything up. Yeah, but they're worth it. At least I think so. All right, so that's the expecting. That fails in the expected way. Can I just run all of them? I should really have only broken those 2 tests. I tried to get my kids into programming. It's too much like math to them, and they don't like math. I even tried with Pygame, because that's making a game using Python. And my son got a little bit into it, but then I think it just wasn't rewarding enough, and it was too much like homework. He knows enough Python, like he could do a little bit of tinkering with Pygame, but that's about it. Which maybe probably gives him a good advantage in school once they get to actual programming. It's interesting. There aren't any classes, even in high school, that are dedicated to programming. It's just, I thought by this time that like this generation would have that. Or maybe they do in some schools, but my kids aren't offered that very much. But when they get to college, I'm sure it'll help. Knowing programming concepts is nice. Yeah, I agree. Just thinking logically, problem solving. You would think it would be useful in any kind of like scientific background. All right. So we should be only failing those 2 tests, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's fix it. It shouldn't be too hard. It's if we have a JWT, they also have a Twitch ID, and if they don't have a player ID, we still let them stay connected. We just tell them they don't have a player ID. This one. I did initialize that to 0, right? Yeah, okay. So if they get all the way through to the complete function here for JWT, that was here in step 7, right? Yeah, right here. Oh wait, this is only passing the JWT. It's the next step where we handle on login. Executed, right? No error. Okay, but this, okay, so this is an additional variable, right? Twitch ID. Hey there, Burger Donkey. I love that name. There are simply not enough IT people going for a teacher job to offer programming classes to high school kids. Well, I've learned that being a teacher is really tough because you're not paid very well, and there's a lot of training that you need to have, a lot of credentials, and most places, like, kids just don't appreciate teachers very much. It's a really, what would you say? What would be the right way to say it? Words don't come easily to me sometimes. Underappreciated. Teachers are underappreciated, I think. You also have to work with kids and do it. Exactly. You have to be good in both. Be good with computers and good with kids. It's hard to be expert in more than one thing. Scratch is weird, but seems to be getting the concepts. Oh, right. Yeah. Scratch is an awesome language for younger kids to, like, just to see if that's something that they're into, programming. Just don't let them fall into the trap that my kids did, where they end up they stop doing their own Scratch and they just are looking through other people's Scratch programs that show what was it, Cyan Cat or whatever it was. They just watch that for hours, and it's like they're back to watching YouTube videos again. And they say, "Well, look at their Scratch programs. We're doing programming." Like, no, you're watching videos that are generated by someone else's Scratch programs. Yeah, Cyan Cat. That's the right thing, right? Am I remembering the right thing? It's a little cat that goes, yeah, this thing. So that was like a big thing with my kids, is finding all the Scratch programs that are out there that just draw Cyan. Oh, it's Nyan Cat? Whatever. All right. So this is not what we want to do. We only want to do this if player ID is not 0. That's the one thing. And what else do I need to do? I think this, we only do... Okay, no, that's a little bit different. I think what we got to do is expand this one. What's this unsuccessful one do with the player ID? Oh, this is if they got banned. Also, we track the number of bad logins for a player so that if someone's trying to hack someone else's account, we slow them down with a CAPTCHA at some point. Yeah, so both of these we need to adjust. Do this one first, I guess. So this one will include the Twitch ID. Twitch ID. This is the identifier of the... Oh, if... Irish John is raiding with the party of 5. Yarr! Ahoy there, matey! How was your stream, Irish John? Irish John Gaming is making an awesome looking game in Unity, which is a PvP pirate ship battle simulator, complete with boarding parties, or is it just land excursions to try to take over the keep or the island? It looks really awesome. I first watched Irish John Gaming when he was like working on the cannon battles, and I'm like, this is pretty friggin' awesome. So you should check out his stream. Thank you, Nui. I'm doing okay, Irish John. I had to split my stream up today into 2 parts with a big 3-hour break in the middle because I had a meeting, but I'm working on the last touches to this login with Twitch feature. So it's all cleaned up now, so it looks like this. So you make a choice, the old traditional way, username, password, or you can say, I want to log in with Twitch. And then it takes you to Twitch, and you say, sure. And then it logs you back right in. If you have an account, and this is the thing that's missing, if you do not have a game account linked to Twitch, right now it just boots you back out. What I wanted to do instead is kind of like the equivalent of doing new account, but then remove these password fields and the CAPTCHA and just say like, welcome to the game. You do not seem to have an account yet, or you do not seem to have a character in the game yet. Provide a name and sign up, and then you'll be playing. So I'm working on that right now. The OAuth 2 is used, but on top of that, it's OpenID Connect. Or I'll type it out. OpenID Connect. So Twitch calls it OIDC. I use the implicit flow. And with that, what happens is pressing this button redirects you to Twitch with a request to make a JWT signed by Twitch that says that you are who you say you are. And if successful, Twitch redirects back to your site with the JWT, and then you take that JWT, you verify the signature and claims, and you're good to go. So the part of my code that does that check is all here. We take the header and claims out. We make sure it's a web token, that it's signed with the algorithm we expect, that the issuer is who we expected it to be, that it is us for the audience and authorized party, that the token hasn't expired. Oh, Irish John, you didn't have to do that, but thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the support. Anyway, yeah, we already did all this stuff. It's just cleaning it up and handling the case where you don't have a player in the game yet and you have to make one. That's what we're doing today. Oh, so you do have boarding parties in your game? It's not polished yet? That's fine. It's still a work in progress, right? And can you use the username to auto sign up? That's what we're working on, yeah. The problem is you might not want it to automatically use your Twitch name, so I kind of wanted it to prompt anyway, but maybe we can pre-fill the form with your Twitch name, and then you can just hit a button, and you're in, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to want to play the game and not expose who they are on Twitch, which is fine. We're just leveraging their authentication mechanism. We don't need to broadcast people's identities, unless they want to, which is fine with me. If they want to, that's fine. Made a stickman lying down on the horizon. Okay, cool. The boarding is just an event thing that locks the ships together and your crews fight as numbers. Well, that's fine. That sounds cool, though. I really like the way you've leveraged all the assets and systems in Unity, and from day one, I really liked how you did the water effects. I don't know whether you did a lot of that yourself or you picked up other tools, but whatever you did, it was like awesome. So that got me hooked on your stream. I even liked the purple water. You had been coloring the water purple for a while for testing, right? I don't know. I'm a developer. I like debug stuff. I'm like, that's a cool idea. Make the water purple, so you know. Everyone hates the water? What are you talking about? It's like some of the best water effects I've seen. I guess I've seen a lot of poorly drawn water effects. A cube underneath it? Yeah. Hey there, Callow Creation. How are you doing? I was watching your stream the other day, too. You were working on Twitch extension stuff, right? Yeah, I should give a shout out to you as well. Check out Callow Creation. Another expert developer here on Twitch. And Adam's here. Oh my goodness, all the cool people are here today. You should check out Adam C. Eunice's stream. He's like one of the best artists I've ever seen, especially on Twitch, because he gives out a lot of useful advice and demonstrations, and he's got instructional videos on YouTube. He's the man. And he's also Australian. Or he pretends to be Australian, but he's really not. Should ask Adam to give you his impressions of how Americans speak. Is actually really good. Yeah, all the cool people are here. So This, what we're staring at here, is the code I already wrote that allows us to log in through Twitch. It looks really impressive, but it's not really that big a deal. It's just we're looking at a data structure and seeing, does everything match, right? So yeah, I'm working on the feature now where when you log in with Twitch and you hit authorize, right now it says, well, you don't have an account with this Twitch. There's nothing linked to your Twitch account. And rather than do that, I wanted to show the equivalent of this, where you pick a name and you sign up, and then you're in. Hey, no problem, Callow Creation. I'd like to shout out all of the Twitch streamers. It seems like we all hang out in each other's channels, which is pretty awesome. It's like we have a super community. Each of us streamers has their own community, and then there's migration between them, and then I see, like, I don't know, sets of 12 to 20 streamers kind of forming these super communities that kind of merge together. You woke up super early? Yeah, see, Adam's in the future. I'm in the past. For me, it's still the 5th of September, but I think for him it's the 6th now. Pretty sure. So, welcome from the past, Adam. I hope the future is going well for you. Oh, and he's upside down, too. You gotta be tough to live in Australia, you know, have your feet glued to the ceiling all the time. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not gonna quit my day job. I'm no comedian. Anyway. I am adding in the Twitch identity in parallel with the player identity, because we want to have this intermediate step where you've authenticated with Twitch, but you don't have a player account yet. So we don't want to disconnect you. We want to keep you connected so that you can create a player identity. So the player ID will be 0, but it'll be okay because the Twitch ID will not be 0. I just need to word this correctly. If the user of the client has been authenticated via Twitch, this is the user's Twitch identifier. There we go. And do I want to include that on unsuccessful client logins or not? I don't know. Where's an example of that? Down here? On unsuccess, what does this do? I don't think I need to, because the only thing that this does is record the fact that you have a bad login on your record, and also it sees, did you fail because you're banned? I don't think I need to ban Twitch users, do I? Well, maybe I do. I don't know. Let me put that on the list of things to think of later. Do we need to ban users who... ban Twitch users who do not have player accounts? Maybe. Probably would be a good idea, but I don't really have time to worry about that. I'm just going to stick with the client login stuff right now. Okay, Twitch is really hot right now, so I'm going to have trouble keeping up. If I miss something and you want me to see it, please be sure to tag me. When the sun came down for you, and now it's... Okay, yeah, it's hard when we're talking in inverse terms, isn't it? I should have someone in my chat called Falling Down to match Adam's viewer who's named Falling Up. Right? Wouldn't that make sense, Adam? I need a Falling X down in my chat. Should ban Twitch users that are banned in your channel. That's an excellent idea, actually, because we can check that with the Twitch API, right? I like that a lot. Let me give you a point. Oh, that's a long chat. I thought that was a spam at first. Let me read it. The trouble of being a teacher depends on age of students and education system. Yeah, I agree. Because, like, older students in college who actually want to learn are easier to teach, right? If you don't want some types of knowledge, they will manifest teachers as enemies. Yeah, exactly. The hardest part of being a teacher, I think, is if you're forced to teach students who don't want to learn. I never want to get into that situation. That sounds like hell. In the back of my psyche, I guess you'd say, this lingering desire of teaching, but I'm always scared away from it for reasons like I might get stuck in a situation where I have to teach a class and no one wants to learn and they're all goofing off and disrupting the class, and it would just be hell. Cool, yeah, anyway. Yeah, Adam, we need it needs to be flying X down? I was just thinking reverse the up and down. All right, that's the declaration. Let's copy it to the definition before I get too lost. It is here. And then where we need to use it, here. This only happens on password reset, so it's always a 0. That's easy. Here, it's in the command. No, it's not in the command. It's in the results, so we have it right there. And one last place. This is what? When we create the player? This we might know what it is. But let's wait until we get there. So for now, I'll just put a 0. All right, and then what that function does is important, right? Because it's going to tell us if we're logged in elsewhere, like that, and we don't want to do that if the player ID is 0. In fact, we're going to skip a lot of this. Yeah, let's do a short circuit. If player ID is 0, then obviously the Twitch ID will not be 0, right? So we can just record it. Twitch ID is... In fact, I don't even need to do it here. I can just do it outside here. And I can have this return early. Twitch ID. Do I need to do anything else? I want to send this, actually. Yeah, so if we don't have a player ID, but we're logged in, the login status was no account, right? And that was it. I think that's what the test required. Sorry for that heavy drop, but that's okay. So I don't know how you would like me to say your name. I'll just say Pex for now. We've had a problem recently, not just in my channel, but in actually mostly other channels, where some bot accounts were coming in and copy-pasting like large blocks of text. And so I was like on alert at first to see if this is a bot account, do I need to ban it? But, you know, reading your text, it was not spam, so it's fine. So I should have waved. Did I wave? Here, I'll wave again. I don't think I did. Welcome to the channel. Adam says, I think you're in the situation where nobody wants to learn. As a teacher, your job becomes parent, psychologist, babysitter. See, it's a lot of jobs. Anyone would be exhausted, right? To have to be all of those roles, I wouldn't be able to do it. I think the only way I'd be able to teach is if, like, it's in a college situation where everyone's there wanting to learn. Because in college, if you don't want to learn, you just don't show up, right? That's the simple truth. College students who don't want to learn just don't show up. And then you just fail them. You don't have to deal with it. Let's see if my tests pass. Probably they won't because I've been heavily distracted, but we'll see. Yeah, okay. It is not being recorded. And it is failing way down here. Why did we... Oh, right. We're supposed to record that... Oh, because it's not given. Okay, that's why. We need to give it here. So we're simulating the executor, the part of the game server that actually makes decisions about what should be done. We have to simulate that because we're building up the coordinator. It doesn't make decisions. It's just like a checking, like a gatekeeper kind of thing, and does all the messaging. So it works with the executor, and this part where the mock executor, we're pretending that there is an executor, and then it's telling us, yes, they logged in with this player ID and this Twitch ID, which I was missing. The Twitch ID is somewhere around here. Where was it? Here it is, test user Twitch ID. All right. Try it again. Cool. I like to see the green lights. Pass. Yes. How about the second one? Probably a fail, right? That's interesting. It's not lighting up. Is this even running? It's supposed to light up brighter red. How come it's not doing that? Show. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. VS Code is crapped out. Close it. Start it up again. It became unresponsive. I'm seeing VS Code get a bit more unstable this week, and I don't know why. I made the mistake of upgrading because I saw a problem with the Test Explorer UI, and you know what happens when you upgrade things? Half the time, it seems these days, you upgrade and things break. Did you lose the stream too? I'm not dropping any frames. I'm still going. No dropped frames. Sometimes I don't know if F means that the stream is gone or if just my test failed. If you're a subscriber to Adam13531, you can always do Adam fail, and that'll tell me that it's the traditional F in Twitch is if the stream is broken. Okay, so now it's running again. I don't know what that break was, but it is still failing. And I believe this is because right now we required a player account to exist. So let me go back into here and find out. Well, it should have done that. Oh, wait a minute. This is called by something else that probably also does a check, right? Oops. Up here, right? The login one? Yes. It should get into here, and yeah, it should have gone into here. So why did... I guess we can debug it now. Debug it. Well, we're not sure, just debug. Debugger will tell us what's going on, right? Twitch ID is... Why is it 0? That's a problem. It should not be 0. It's 0. Did I misspell Twitch ID somewhere? I'm just not... It's not in there at all. Did I not rebuild this? I have no idea what's going on. It's almost like it didn't rebuild it. Which is possible. Oh, wait a minute. Did I update the wrong one? Did it not save last time? Is that the problem? Oh, no, I changed it in one place and not the other. That's what it was. Hey there, Jelmega. It has been a bit, hasn't it? How are you doing? VIP the Jelmega? How are you doing these days? Should just put a comma there to begin with. Okay, so this test, there is no account, but they authenticate through Twitch. We should let them stay logged in, but no account. Correct? I also need to make sure we don't disconnect them when this happens. I guess that'd be the next thing, because these are passing now, right? These tests pass. Now we need to make sure they don't get disconnected. I had a test for that. I just need to find it. Like disconnect or something. Hang up. How am I going to find this? Hang up something in all CPP files. Like that. I don't see it yet. Maybe I don't have a test for it. Finally using 2 monitors, but you really dislike your current apartment. Was a bit of a rush. Yeah, you're in, I don't want to dox you. You don't need to say where you are if you don't want to. Right, you're in Bulgaria. Sofia, Bulgaria. But the upside is that it's cheap, right? Have a great day, Mr. Adam C. Eunice. And once again, now I'm dropping frames. I just dropped 10 frames. Anyway, you should check out Adam C. Eunice's stream. I'll definitely be there unless I have something urgent to go to. I usually hang out on Adam's stream. For me, it's at like 8 p.m. to midnight. For you guys, don't know because you're all over the world. But have a great day, Adam. Depends on the tools. Commercial tools are update the drivers, and then the customers open. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, are we talking about updates? Huh. Yeah, it dropped 10 frames. That's almost like a quarter of a second. No, it's a half a second for me. I'm doing 20 frames a second. I dropped a half second of data there. All right. I thought it for sure I would have a test that we hang up on players that have not authenticated, but I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's like disconnect, not hang up. I wonder if it would even be at this level of the coordinator. I know the world's burning. Actually, kind of feels like that. It's almost 26 Celsius where I am, and that's my, again, these days just are on that threshold of discomfort for me. I don't see this test I'm looking for. It's got to be here somewhere. Maybe I was just lazy, didn't write a unit test for it. It would involve that constant I saw, though, so I could look at that constant and search for where else it's used, right? That constant, I mean, I shouldn't say constant, that configuration item was used up here in this disconnect time.clients, this thing, time at connection start or log out. Oh no, auth timeout, that's what it is. Public connection ID timeout is what we're looking for. Grace period given clients after destroy player. Grace period clients hung up after authentication. I think this is it. Close and ban client if not identified quickly enough. So this requires player identification, right? And we want to allow Twitch login to count as that. So what is... Okay, how do we how does this DOS mitigation test that it doesn't hang up? Nah. I'm not seeing it. Hacker. Expect that they're not banned. Add some time. Oh, right, because it's set to 1 second. So wait some time and assert that the number of connections is not 0, and then wait a little bit more past the threshold and assert that it's been disconnected. So we want to have another test where they authenticate as a Twitch user, and we should not hang them up. So how does it best simulate that? It would be to go into the connection and set the Twitch ID. That's what it would be. Uptime's not working? Isn't that something Stream Elements normally does? Ping. My bot's still there. How come uptime doesn't work? I think Stream Elements might be down. I don't know, is Twitch having one of those days where just things don't work so well? Am I right in thinking, yeah, uptime, Stream Elements should have responded and it did not. Must be Stream Elements. Go. RIP Stream Elements. My bot's still working. What was it again? Oh, my bot killed Stream Elements? Well, that was the intent, but I haven't armed it yet, so I think something else killed Stream Elements. Oh, there it comes back, and now it's replying to Cthulhu's original uptime from a minute ago. And appropriately it said Elements S. It should say Monka S because it's under stress, but yeah. Anyway, all right. I think I'm duplicating this and say do not close or ban client authenticated only by Twitch. So right now it will do it, and we want to make it so it does not do it anymore. So we do that, and then within this time, I guess we could split it just for kicks. That after 0.4 seconds, we would simulate an authentication event, which would be, we get the connection like so. Actually, it should be exactly 1, right? Assert equal 1 for, well, let's get the connections. Const auto connections is that, and then assert that we have exactly 1 of them. Because that makes it easy, because we can just use the begin operator, and then that is our connection. So const auto connection equals that. And then this is not hacker anymore, this is Twitch user. And it's an iterator into this, which is a map from WebSocket to client record. So we can look at the client record and let's just do expect. Expect equal, no, it's not expect. I was going to go in there and simulate it, right? So connection second.twitch ID equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we advance the clock and verify. Is it because that's not a const? I didn't like that. Okay, you can't use const if you're going to mutate the data, right? So this is simulating that the authenticate is Twitch, because we don't need to do the rest of the real authentication if we're just focusing in on the bit of code that would do the closing of the connection, right? It just looks at that field and sees that it's non-zero, it should not hang up. I think I can collapse those two, can't I? Yeah, there's no reason to do that. I can just put this back to what it was, like 0.9, and then just in time authenticate, and then go past this timer and see that it is false, right? So expect false. And so it's not disconnected and not banned. There we go. Easy peasy. So run that. It's going to fail. They are disconnected as early as line 62. So I had already done the little fix when I was just glancing at the code, and I undid it because I reminded myself that I want to have a test in place first before I change the code. So now that it's there, oh, thank you for that, follow. Now that it's there, I can go in and make that change, and it was just one little change, right? Right, it was here where we say that both of these numbers have to be non-zero. I mean, both of them have to be 0 to reach the authentication timeout, basically. I think that's all I need to do. Now you can authenticate with Twitch and stay connected even if you don't have an account in-game. Nope, I didn't fix it. What did I do wrong? It still hung up on me. I think we will debug it and find out why. So that would be right here. And see when that happens in this test. Debug. So what condition are we? Still 0. And then what are we in the main thread? Where are we? So we're already here. So this did write something into the connection. Oh, I think I know why. This is copying. That's what it is. This returns a reference. If we don't make it a reference, does that mean this is returning? Oh, it's a const reference. Shoot. So how do I change it then? Why did I make it a const reference anyway? This is a test method. Why did I bother? Why did I make it const reference? That's stupid. Yeah, it's only used in tests, so shouldn't I just make that non-const? These are all tests right here. This is not even correct. This is marked as a test method, right? Yeah, testing. So what the heck was I thinking? I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, maybe, probably if we were to mutate it, it could cause a crash because it's being used from a different thread. So we don't want to modify it in place. So really what I need to do is I just need a test method that simulates an authentication. Do I have something similar down here? Not really. I guess I can add it. Can add it. Because I don't really care to do the whole process normally. Can I just add it here? Where would I add it? Guess we put it at the end. So void set client Twitch ID. How do I identify a client? I'm not sure. So if that's a copy and the client, hold on. Client record. Oh, we could do it by ID. I guess I could just pass in the WebSocket. We have that, right? Why don't I just do that? In fact, we already have the WebSocket. It's available through this thing. Yeah, this connection context has the WebSocket in it. It's like right here, WebSocket. Okay, so I don't even need to do this stuff. I can just say assert false connections dot empty. And then I don't even need all this junk. I can just say coordinator set, and then this new thing I was going to add, right? Set client Twitch ID, and then we'll just reference by the WebSocket. So that would be Twitch user dot is it delegate context? No. It's a WS server, that's what it is. And then set its ID, so whatever I want it to be. There we go. Done. Discover some of the horrors of the game engine network. Sometimes you really need to be comforted when you find an ancient bug. Redacted. So Gel Mega, have you heard about the bug in Wing Commander? Ever heard about this bug in Wing Commander? I don't think they ever fixed it. Wing Commander bug. It was the exit game bug. Was this it? I don't know where it is. Okay, but it had to do with thank you for playing. This is an awesome story. Yeah, here we go. Shitty programming. So whenever you would exit the game Wing Commander, you'd see this message, thank you for playing Wing Commander. The only reason they did that is because originally it would crash when you'd exit the game, and it would crash with this message, memory manager error. So what they did is they hex edited that error message to say thank you for playing Wing Commander. And they said, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Yeah, exactly. It was a memory management error. The game could not clean itself up to exit properly. So they just let it crash, and they changed the crash message to say thank you for playing. And they shipped it. Isn't that great? Awesome. What is it not like about this? Oh, what is connections? Hold on. Did I not get that right? Oh, it's coordinator get client connections. My bad. You never heard about that, Toulouse? Yeah, it's one of those classical this is not a bug, it's a feature moments. Syntax, oh, I messed up the header here. Yeah, I didn't finish. So this should be standard shared pointer to a WebSocket. Client WebSocket. And then Twitch ID. Okay. So this is simulate a client having authenticated with the game as the Twitch user having the given Twitch ID. Client WebSocket. This is the WebSocket connection. WebSocket's one word, right? And it's capitalized. The WebSocket connection to the client. And then Twitch ID. This is the identifier of the Twitch user to record in the client record. There we go. And then we'll go where this method is defined and just add the thing. And it's a total hack because it's just for testing. It's just simulating that it happened. So all I need to do is reference that. So I'd need to go client equals impl messaging clients find client WebSocket, and then if this is equal to that's end, then we have no such connection, right? And then we just do nothing. Otherwise, we're going to go to that client record and set the Twitch ID to Twitch ID. And we should probably hold the mutex while we do all this, right? That'd probably be smart. That's the whole reason why I didn't allow the connections to be mutable in the first place. It's because we're fighting other threads. It's a pimple, right? Is that what we're looking for? Yeah, pointer to implementation. It's a design pattern. It's a way to fully abstract away the private details of a class. Is you are allowed to do that even if this is not defined, because the compiler doesn't actually need to know the definition of the structure if all it needs to have is a pointer to it. It's just a pointer to some opaque type, right? And then in the implementation, you define what the structure actually is, and then the linker can connect them together. The price is that when you create an object, you have to make two things. You make the outer class, which really has only one piece of data, which is the pointer to the inner class or structure. And so it's always a two-step thing. 2 steps to allocate, 2 steps to deallocate, 2 steps to reference. The benefit is full encapsulation. You can change the header file. You can change the implementation and not have to change the header file at all. So it's there's a trade-off. I tend to like this because I don't want to ever have dependencies, the implementation of dependencies to break the things that depend on them. Hey there, new coder. How are you doing? And Atomic Nibble. I like that name a lot. How are you doing? Double indirection. Yes. So you have to measure it. How often are you doing the indirection? If you're doing it in a loop 1,000,000 times a second, probably not a good pattern to use. In my case for the game, it's pretty infrequent. Most of the heavy lifting of the game server, it's inside the implementation, so it's already inside the impl, and so the indirection's already, it's done once outside before you even enter the painful loops. But you never know. If it ever comes up in my performance measurements, then I reconsider that pattern, and really it would just be taking the contents of that structure and just pasting it in place of the pointer and just removing the pointer, right? All right, so back to here. This should build now. Unless I got something else wrong. No, I got something else wrong. What is it that I got wrong? Use dot. Yes, indeed. Use a dot. I use virtual interfaces for some things. Not everything, though. I use virtual interfaces where I want to have dependency injection. So, for example, the raft algorithm is supposed to be, it's meant to be reusable, so it could be used by anyone else. You don't have to be working with my game or with a game at all. So when this server is given a message, where is its interface? Server is given a command. It would be called a log entry. The method is append log entries, and it's just a vector of them. But if you look at that thing, it is all, for the most part, virtual methods. That, actually, hold on. No, it's one level deeper. It's this thing has a pointer to a command, and the command is a pure virtual interface. So this is how I do virtual interfaces. It's a class that has only public pure virtual methods, and it's the closest thing you can get to a pure interface in C++. The idea is that this log entry class can work with any kind of command as long as the command obeys 2 requirements. that you can call a method called getType and get a string out, and that you can call encode and get a JSON value out. That's all a command needs to do, and then it can be carried inside of a log entry, which is then replicated by the, where is it? Replicated by the consensus algorithm. So using append log entries, and it magically appears at all the other servers. Should check the Twitter post you sent. It's awesome. Okay, will do. Definitely will check it out. Uh-oh. Is someone fighting in my game? I heard the little fight sound. Oh, someone is fighting. Look at that. There's a heated battle in the dungeon. And they died. I'm sorry, player 334. You want me to heal you? Oh, no, you resurrected. I can actually heal you with this command. Heal player 344. Just in time, you were healed. Uh-oh, you're gonna die again. How fast can I type this command? Not fast enough. I'll get ready for when you die, almost die again. There, healed you again. Don't admin abuse? Hey, I can also just wipe out these enemies if I want. Boom! You're dead! Haha, I mercilessly slay them. That's okay, they respawn pretty quickly. This is actually a pretty challenging test area. I tuned it so that it's doable if you have 3 or more players there, and if you have a whole bunch of players, you can probably survive in here. But these guys will pretty much one-shot you. No history? I haven't implemented it yet. You got me there, Atomic Nibble. I'll give you a point for catching me on that. Yeah, I need to have that as a feature in the game. So, reminder, add history to in-game chat message entry. I want to have that because that most things have that and I don't, and I just never got around to it. Alright, back to this. Did I miss anything, by the way? I don't think so. Back to here. We're going to run this again. It passes now. Yay! Verifying that it passes for the right reason. Let me comment out the line I added back here. If IntelliSense will help. There we go. Comment that back out. It should fail again, right? Because that's the condition that we are adding to, what was I saying? That's the exemption that if you're a non-zero Twitch ID, you won't get disconnected. Okay, that's what it is. Cool. So now if you authenticate with Twitch, you won't get disconnected. So this will be our opportunity in the player to enter a new player name and press a sign up button. So that will be a new kind of message. I guess we can reuse the existing one, create player. And that's actually what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to reuse the create player message, and the create player message, the way it will be handled is it will, if you're already authenticated with Twitch, it will store your Twitch credentials in your player record and auto link you, in a sense. Large areas of water are trippy. Yeah, you know why they flash? It's because there is high, I was going to say contrast, but I don't know if that's the right word. Go back to 0, 0, for example. It's not that there's contrast, it's that it's a very sharp, that's the right word. There's a very sharp line there between the blue water and the black background. And even when it's scrolling only 1 pixel, and also depending on the type of monitor you have, it could be very flashy because it's going from very bright blue to very dark black on every pixel. So if I did anti-aliasing or just blurred it a little bit, it would look smoother and less flashy, but I haven't bothered to do that. I have the capability of doing that in the tile set itself. I would just have to make in between tiles that kind of smudge the water going from 1 pixel to another, and then just have more tiles in the animation sequence. So I just didn't bother to do that. This is actually what it looked like in the original Ultima games, but back then we all had cathode ray tube monitors, and that had the advantage, so to speak, of not so abrupt changes in light to dark. See, the smudging, in a sense, is built into CRTs. Nowadays, with LED and LCD monitors, you see a flash because there's an abrupt edge between black and bright blue. persistence of vision also comes into play. You're right, A squared. So, I don't know. I might look into that just to catch up with modern technology, sort of to replicate the way it used to look in the past. We'd have to do some smudging of the lines. Okay, so I need to go back though. There's one thing I forgot to do. So this mechanism of logging in with Twitch, right? It leverages the fact that where was it? The changes I made up here. How come I'm not seeing it? Interesting. It was no account. It was that the executor will include the Twitch ID, so I didn't do the executor changes yet, so I need to go back and do that. Oh yeah, did you want me to look at that now? I was going to look at it after the stream, but I can if you want me to look at it now. Proper use of a rusty pipeline? Okay. Oh, I see. And then it creates ramps? Well, there you go. Destructible environments. You can get into the second story buildings by using the rusty pipes. I like it. So I should probably include puzzles like that in my game, only instead of 3D, I would have to be a little bit more clever with the 2D, right? So semi-destructible environment that you can use to get through puzzles of some kind. There's more Cyan Cat stuff in Discord, really? Oh, that's Nyan Cat, but turned into Cyan. I got you. Okay. Great contributions to content, so I will award you both points. There you go. Spend them wisely on things you can't buy yet. And there's someone new in the Discord. There you go. Cool. And thank you for that follow, by the way. How am I doing on time? I only have 3 minutes left, folks. I have a hard stop at 3. So how am I going to wrap this up for the day? I think I can squeeze in doing the executor change that will make sure that that is in the return value. So here I should have something that has to do with the JWT. Let me see if I can find it. It would be Twitch ID, actually. Let's look for it. It should be in here on login. Let's try to find it. Here it is. So login with Twitch success, no Twitch ID set yet, doesn't matter. Right, so I can expect... Yeah, exactly. I can just expect the Twitch ID to come back out here. That's exactly what I want. And that's all I need to do. So yeah, I can fit this into 2 minutes. No problem. The Twitch ID is 12345. So this is just something new we expect to see from the executor now. You too, Cthulhu. Thanks for stopping by. You're thinking about this color palette. Are you going to use how I feel it was or with modern studies? I don't know, Pex. I think I will eventually lean towards what the majority of my community wants to see. I'm starting with what I remember and what I've drawn myself, but if people really hate this, then I'll try to adjust it. Because it's really important to me to have my game molded in large part by the community. That's the only way it'll be successful. If people contribute and get what they want out of it, then it'll grow, right? So expect it to change as people want it to change. 128x texture pack? I don't know. We'll see. One step at a time. Okay, so that's demonstrating we don't get the Twitch ID yet, so I just need to add it. And if I need to find executor.cpp, actually there's an easier way. I can just type it there. There we go. And then we go to on login. There we go. And it's if we log in through Twitch, right? Here it is. So we get the Twitch ID. It all works out. I do need to adjust this though. So I need a test case for that. So I'm not going to get that done right now, but if there is a player account, oh, then it skips that entire if and goes down here. Yeah, it gets all the way down here, right? Yeah, okay, so can't I just add it here? Always include it. And then it will just default to 0, and then, yeah, we'll just default it to 0, and if we figure out what it is, we set it. So all of the... what about this? Oh, that's if they log in with password. That's fine. It's on the successful case. Well, it'll fall through with the whole thing, right? Yeah, can't I just get it from their player record? Yeah. We had the player record. I can just use... I don't have to have this Twitch ID anymore. Delete that line. Find Twitch ID again. Scroll, 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 all the way down. It's just player.twitch ID. There we go. That's all I need, I think. Make this one pass. 2048X DLC pack. More likely that I just make a 3D UI for the game. And try to get as close as I can to RuneScape, which will never be the case because I'm just one guy, but who knows. Cool. I passed that test. We are getting login with Twitch. The Twitch ID comes out, so it won't disconnect us even if we don't have an account. Right? No, I still need to have that test for if you have no player account yet. But I'm not going to be able to do that right now. That'll be what that's the loose end I need to do first thing. So executor, don't fail login via Twitch if no player exists. Just return 0 for player ID. I'll do that next, or between streams. Okay, so I gotta go. It's sort of a hard stop for me. While I show you a brilliant view of my game, and perhaps someone's fighting here in the sewers, I don't know. We'll just watch the orcs bounce around for a bit while I go find someone to raid. I will be back tomorrow. Oop, I didn't mean to hide that. I wanted to look at my dashboard. Who are we gonna raid today? For the second time. Earlier I raided Soding. I don't think Soding's still going though. We have some choices. Who to pick? Well, Callow Creation was in chat earlier, right? Let me go raid him. I don't think I've ever raided him before. He's working on a Twitch Spotify extension. So it's Twitch APIs and chat bots, so it's stuff that I've been doing on stream recently too, and he's doing it in Node.js, whereas I'm doing it all in C++. So it's a little bit of a switch up, more JavaScript and CSS and all that stuff. Hope you guys have fun with that. We're gonna go raid him, and I need to spell his name correctly now. In this UI. Uh-oh, he already knows we're raiding him. Quick, assemble the weaponry. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you very much. Bye.